Yeah, I did change, and I'm really glad I changed.
Bazaar. The delusion is strong. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. Earlier, I discussed the content of the article about this one's wife, and I felt that the pictures that were contained within the article, including the front cover, merited a separate analysis. As you know, this one's wife is categorized as a somatic narcissist. Middle range type A is her school, somatic is her cadre. The cadre is essentially about the preferences of the narcissist. Thus, as a somatic narcissist, this one's wife is all about expensive items, sex, material matters, the way that she looks, being seen, but more importantly, being seen in glamorous and expensive places. It is the somaticism of her narcissism that causes her to believe that she is drop-dead good-looking, that every man wants to knock her hip out, that every woman wants to look like her, and causes her to believe that she has got model-level looks, when the reality is she's not ugly, but she's far from stunning. It also causes her to believe that she has a model physique. She cannot help the physique that she has in terms of the body shape, and it's certainly the case that she's always stayed slim, in some instances veering towards skinny, clearly as a consequence of the fact that she watches what she eats. She doesn't, as I've explained previously, strike me as someone who exercises much. She doesn't look particularly toned, but nevertheless, she has always been slender. Unfortunately for her, her body shape doesn't support being a model. She's a boxy shape with no waist, and she has shortish chicken legs, although she thinks that her legs go on for days. And this is all part of the delusion. And as we've regularly seen, there are many instances whereby she wears clothing that doesn't suit her, doesn't fit her, is often creased and inappropriate for the circumstances in which she appears. And as I've explained previously, she doesn't put it on and think, that looks shit, but I'll wear it anyway. Seen through the distortion field of her somatic narcissism, she truly believes that she looks fantastic in it, and that's why she wears it. Which, of course, goes a long way to explaining the appearance that she makes in Harper's Bazaar, a magazine that you know is one of the supine publications, and there's a photo shoot. You'll see, as I'm speaking, the images from that photo shoot, which basically, her cover story is a masterclass in delusion made glossy. She's decided, against all visual evidence objectively, that she is a high fashion model, and Bazaar, desperate for clicks, or probably more likely railroaded by her PR machine, has indulged this fantasy with a 10-page spread that screams midlife crisis in couture, or perhaps more accurately, narcissist who is desperate to be viewed as a high fashion model, requiring photo shoot and publication in magazine. The problems begin immediately with posture. In nearly every frame, this one's wife defaults to the same two poses she has used since the Suits press tour days: the hip-cocked, shoulder-dropped red carpet stance, or the seated, legs crossed, arms akimbo, I'm listening thoughtfully position she perfected on the TIG. A real model, any working editorial girl, has 30 micro-variations in the shoulders, neck, hands and mouth alone. This one's wife has 2, and both are now 15 years out of date. The result is a portfolio that looks like a time capsule from 2011, not 2025. Then there is the face. The tightening is obvious, and in the age of ultra-sharp 50-megapixel digital unforgiving, the lower third of the face is noticeably immobilized. The smile never travels past the nasolabial folds. This is because, of course, her smiling isn't genuine. It doesn't come from a place of emotional empathy. It is an artifice. It's performative. The eyes are meant to do all of the acting, which would be fine if they were doing anything interesting, but they default to the same wide-eyed, earnest girl boss expression she has deployed since the Northwestern Theatre Kid days. There's no danger, no mystery, no sexual menace, nothing that Fashion actually trades in. Malik Bodian lights her like a saint in a Renaissance painting, all soft side light and halo glow, because harsh overhead flash would reveal every overfilled cheek and the strangely waxy texture that heavy foundation on post-procedure skin now gives her. The retouching is aggressive, yet somehow still fails to hide the telltale signs. The porcelain doll skin tone that no longer matches her neck, the slightly shiny tip of the nose, the lips that look simultaneously overlined and undermuscled. The styling is another catastrophe of wishful, deluded thinking. The Row, Celine, Chanel, Balenciaga, Dior labels that demand an icy, almost hostile bone structure are draped on someone whose face is rounded to the point of blandness. Cheekbones that once sliced have been buried under filler. The jawline that used to give her that sharp actressy authority is now a gentle curve. The clothes hang beautifully on the hanger and indifferently on her. The oversized tatami tank and Brunel Cucinelli trousers, shot the one meant to say relaxed billionaire, only succeeds in making her look short-waisted and thick through the middle, because she has inexplicably refused to be taped or corseted the way every actual model, twice her age, still is for these shoots. Worst of all is the Balenciaga shot, the one that was meant to be the money frame. She stands in a black hourglass coat, chin tilted down, eyes looking up under the brow. It is the single most copied pose of the entire Kate Moss oeuvre, and this one's wife executes it with the grace of someone who has seen the reference exactly once on Pinterest. The neck is crunched, the shoulders are up by her ears, and the mouth is doing that weird half purse that reads as trying to look haughty, but lands on chronic dry lip. A real model would give you razor-sharp cheekbone, elongated neck, and a gaze that would cut glass. This one's wife gives QVC hostess discovering the concept of smize for the first time. The seated portraits are even more damning. She leans forward, elbows on knees, hands clasped, an attempt at approachable power. But the angle is unflattering, collapsing the chest and creating a roll across the stomach that no amount of clipping paths can fully erase. The Cartier Love bracelet looks chunky and dated against the sleek minimalist clothes, a reminder that her taste is still frozen in the early 2010s blogger era. Everything about the portfolio screams a woman who believes that fame equals modelling skill, i.e. delusion, who thinks that because designers now send her clothes, she must therefore belong on a couture-level shoot. She does not. She photographs like a former television actress who has been over-botoxed and untrained, coasting on name recognition, and an editor too terrified of this one's wife's comms team to say no. The delusion is total and driven by her narcissism. She genuinely believes these images are competitive with the Rosas or the Paloma Ellis's or even the 50-something Christy Turlington shooting for Vogue right now. They're not. They are the photographic equivalent of a rich woman buying every table at a charity gala and then insisting she should also perform the cabaret. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.